This Mackenzie Scott thing it just always makes me laugh because so she obviously divorced Bezos. She's blowing through this guy's money as quick as she can get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I'll just read a bit of it, but there's like so many funny parts to me. So less than 2 years after announcing their intention to give away a vast fortune together, billionaire philanthropist Mackenzie Scott and her husband, former science teacher, are parting ways, right? And then I think a part of it is that he has to, get some of this money from her, before it's gone, right? Like he's attached to this cash cow. Yeah. He's, guy, yeah. But
there must be a prenup when you're getting in that. He must have signed.
There's got to be a prenup, but there's not a full prenup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she's hell bent on blowing through Bezos' fortune, and his guy's name is Dan, right? And he was like an author, science teacher guy, right? But she basically has been doing all this philanthropy, and it says all of it since they got married. It'll say donated $1 billion from Mackenzie and Dan.
Yeah.
And all of the articles, it's like, can you imagine Bezos watching that being like, one of the nicest guys in the world, Dan, another $2 billion, and just being like, Dan didn't donate shit.
Yeah, Dan didn't donate shit. It's like,
Dan?
It's like this wing of a hospital.
You're a big philanthropist, Dan, are you?
It's like a wing of a hospital. It's the Dan ward. We don't know his last name. He's a fucking nobody, I'll tell you what. But
wouldn't
donate a whole ward.
Drive you nuts if you were Jeff Bezos watching the number one philanthropy in the year, Dan.
You know what is really telling though, and like this, you see this repeated time and time again, is that when guys get stuck in relationships they don't want to be in, really at the end of the day, there's no price too high to get out of it.
Of course.
Like they go like, yeah, like I'll literally like this is worth $10 billion. It
was more. It was like 80
or whatever. Yeah. He's just like, it's worth it.
Yeah. Or he didn't have a choice.
I mean, maybe she wanted to, but I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure Bezos was not like, baby, we could work this out. He probably had checked out so far before that.
Long time ago.
Right. And then he's just like, yeah, like that's like fine.
Yeah. And then once her and Dan got
Dan.
He might be the biggest philanthropist in the world for those 2 years.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he probably must put him in the top like 500 all time.
And Bezos is so hated too by especially the types like Amazon's like public face enemy number one. Think of how crazy it is to make the money. Everyone hates you. People are like, "Fuck you, billionaire piece of shit." Then some dude spends your money and gets all the praise.
Yeah. And honestly, all the people talking shit about Amazon probably use it like every day.
And Dan's not even spending his own money. He's literally, it's not like Dan's other option is he's going to get it. So his only option is to spend the money.
Yeah.
They basically said, hey, Dan.
Just get those buildings named after him,
That's the only thing you can really do, because he couldn't say, hey, why don't we cut this whole philanthropy thing out? Like, there's no way.
He's probably like, look, Mackenzie, you've made your point here, okay? You gave away all your money. You made the point. Let's not get carried away with this. There's a lot of other things we could do with this money.
You've done a really good job of giving away Jeff's money, but now what's left, I feel like, is our money.
Right? And she goes, who are you?
Yeah, so that's why I don't know if Dan kicked himself to the curb. You know what probably happened too is a little bit Dan, when he got into the mix, he was like, she's like, I'm going to give away all the money. And he was kind of like, I mean, obviously he's not going to give away all of it. And and then as the bank account kept draining 2 months in, he was like, this bitch might be actually giving away all of it.
Well, and also Amazon's share price got cut in half. So then the money is like, half of that is gone. Right, and then so he's like, "Wow, this is." He's like, "You're giving away money based on the share price from last year."
Well, this is real, huh? You're actually,
we're doing this, okay?
And she's like, "Yeah, but we gave you the wing." It's like, "Yeah, the wing is."
Yeah, but you didn't put my last name on it.
It says Mackenzie Scott and Dan. So, and then without fanfare, his name was edited out of a Medium post. So she was posting all these Medium posts. That's how she announces her big donations.
Oh, she has a blog?
She has a Medium. Yeah. She's a philanthropist blogger. That's the dream.
Never did a blogger.
She's the philanthropist blogger, right? And then, so she's basically this number one philanthropist blogger. And then she went back into her old blogs and changed it. So it's, instead of saying Mackenzie Scott and Dan, it just says Mackenzie Scott. Dan got rubbed out. They can't take his name off the buildings, I guess.
Yes, they can. Sandblast that shit right off.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Just taking off the Dan and anonymous. They all got changed to anonymous.
Yeah, just ouch.
You know what I was thinking the bloggers are? Bloggers are just instigators. That's the best way to describe them. Bloggers are like like a friend of your chick that's why is he doing that? We don't do that. That's what they are to like, hey, black people, why are white people doing this? Hey, women, like, you don't think it's okay that men they're instigators. They ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
Because they did, there was this woman who posted a Reddit thing that went super viral, right? And she basically said that she goes, hey, so I proposed an open relationship to my husband, right? And she goes, she's been reading all these blogs, and she goes to her fiance or whatever. She goes, I don't remember the exact post, but it was something along the lines of, hey, so I had an open and honest conversation with my husband, and I proposed that maybe we should do an open relationship, and my husband exploded on me, and then he like packed up all his things, and he's moved out, and he was canceling our wedding, and I called him, and he's not answering any of our phone calls, and then I called his friends, and her friends said, like he doesn't want you to contact him and all this stuff. And she goes, I'm flipping out. I don't know what to do. I just thought that maybe we could have this. And I told him I just wanted us to maybe have some experiences as long as it's open and honest. And, everyone obviously was originally posting, this guy's an asshole, this and that.
He's the asshole.
But then like dude Twitter got a hold of it, and dude Twitter's like win for the boys kind of thing.
Yeah.
Being like, but it would be like dating a girl that had a bad advice in her ear. You know what I mean? And you know what the other part?
I mean, how many guys have ever suggested that and it torpedoes their relationship?
But I think if the guy, there's also a thing where girls, this is the part that blogs are so stupid about with guys. Just the like basic psychology of a dude, you would be more likely to want to do that if you proposed it.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Because you take all the guy's control away. And the other part about that is that I feel like is so funny that they don't realize is when girls will go, she'll say something like in the thing, she was like, and obviously I proposed that we would be very open and honest about it, and we would, as long as we told each other. And it was like, no, that's the part you want.
Yeah.
Like if I was in a situation where I'm like, hey, we'll fucking a little something on the side, but let's not talk about it. And she's like, no, let's talk about it. And I go, no, I don't want. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the whole thing about you're just sort of dating with someone.
You're like, what do you think of this guy? And you go, I don't want to see this.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Open and honest. That's the thing where a dude goes like, hey, I'm sort of over this whole thing. Can we see other people? And she goes, we want to be open and honest about us. And the guy goes, fine, I'll agree to your terms. But it was like a girl going to you and saying like, hey, I want to open this puppy up, and I want to tell you about it, and I want you to tell. It's like, I honestly think I would do the same thing as him. I might not storm out, but I would probably be some version of like, yeah, I don't know about that. And in my mind, I'd be like, okay, we're probably.
Yeah.
I think I would maybe respond to something like that too.
I started looking for places and just low key.
Like I wouldn't explode or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't
like
explode,
that.
but I'd be planning.
In your mind, you'd be like, okay, you know what I mean?
Be like, I'm going to start cheating. I'm going to say no to the open relationship, start cheating.
100%.
just as that. And then be like, in a few months, be like, yeah, we're done.
Because blogs don't understand dudes at all, right?
No.
So this
dudes don't blog.
She got into the community, started reading all this stuff. It got into her head.
Poisoned her mind.
Poisoned her mind, ruined her life. And then everyone goes, yeah, actually, that guy's used. And it's not even her being like, you know what? Maybe I won't propose that the same way to a dude next time. She's like, everyone's advice is like, that guy was a diamond in a haystack in a negative way. You need to find a real man who will be fine with those kind of proposals.
Sure. Yeah. Good luck, I guess.
No, you get some like Brooklyn, she they dude.
Of course.
Which there was a couple of those. I had a fucking dude that I've met, fucking long hair, mustache, and then found out it was she, her, and it was like, okay, but you are a dude, right? I'm like, you have a mustache and you look like a dude and talk like a dude.
Yeah.
And then saw on Instagram it was she, they, and I was just like, what?
Yeah. Keep you on your toes.
It does keep you on your toes.
So we're dating now.
So
I was actually,
me and her
I bought
dating
I bought the big ass fake titties. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw you bought
a set, but on the site they have they had all the photos.
The tiggles.
They have all the photos, and there's like legit, like just like a dude with a beard, looks like me, just like big ass fake titties.
Come on,
as like the models on the site because they're like trying to show they're for everybody or whatever. So there's like literally one of the guys on the site just looks like me, big ass fake tits.
That's so funny. That's the teacher.
Yeah, basically, but like a beard and everything, like not even a wig. It's just like a dude with a big ass fake tits. Be like, yeah, you could.
The last thing I'll say about Miss Mackenzie Scott thing is when they were describing Dan, the person said he was like a really good guy, and she goes, he's one of those guys that she goes, he had no sense of greed at all. Very easy to have no sense of greed with $10 billion of someone else's money.
For sure. There's so many zeros in that bank account it doesn't display on your phone properly. Like you ever try and like add too many zeros on the calculator app and then it just like puts the E or whatever because it runs out of space. It's like, yeah, when your bank account looks like that, there's an E, like an exponent or whatever. You're like, yeah.
How funny is that they would describe Dan as a very generous guy?
Yeah.
It's like crazy guy, like way more generous when he
probably has a fucking Amazon stock ticker like above the bed, like those LED, but it's just Amazon price. Just
Dan's so generous. Such a generous
Shout
man.
out to Dan.
Shout out to Dan.